Hello guys. Let me turn this off since I don't know how to turn it down. I hope you've all had a good Tuesday. My day started off pretty good. I got dressed, showered, and curled my hair, and did my makeup, and started to get online and answer emails and do applications. It was hard enough this week, finding out that you're living a lie with all the lies on top of lies on top of lies, and all the things that were caused from his lies, to find out that I'm the fourth wife. It's just shocking. And then to find out you're possibly the fifth wife, and then maybe not married at all. It's a mess. So I was upset about that all weekend, and then I called my doctor first thing in the morning, and they said they were going to fix my medicine. So I hope they do and send it through, and that there's no problems with insurance. My husband died 4 months ago. He had a heart attack, and he lied about everything in life, so it was hard grieving and losing, because I was a good wife, and I loved him, and I took care of him. And I did everything that I was supposed to do, except when I was sick for 3 years, 10 years ago. And I was put away after that. No car. We were evicted and moved and into a big house with no cable. We used DVDs, no Wi-Fi. After Vana was born, before we were evicted, Jimmy, Don's brother, was living with us, and he made Don get me a phone because he thought that was inappropriate and that I needed a phone. So that's one of the last times that I seen Jackie, my daughter, because Becky had them, and they were supposed to come back home after we were sick, and I don't know what was done. I don't know if he signed things over. I don't know what he did, but no one would ever take me. It was always an excuse. Then he told me they moved. Anthony had a stroke. That's her husband. There was no phone numbers. The old cell phones were done. And then we moved into this house afterwards and lived there for 5 years. So it wasn't... For 5 years, almost 6, I didn't speak to anybody. I barely left the house before that, so that's why I say 8. I couldn't really leave the house before that. Some friends would come over, the kids would come over, but I wasn't leaving the house. So when I say I haven't left the house for 8 years, I haven't left except to go to the appointments. No stores, no nothing. But I did see people, my kids and stuff. Then we were evicted and we moved. And then it was the 5, almost 6 years of nothing. And I thought that no one knew where I was. But it turned out we were living right around the corner from Becky, not too far. And that she did know we lived there. So I just asked, why didn't she ever bring the kids over? Because it was a constant fight with Don and I that, let's get a lawyer, let's do something. We have 8 bedrooms here. I have them set up for them. I'm waiting for them to come back. And he just wouldn't. He would say if he goes up against her, she'd ruin him, and it's not good. He just didn't want the responsibility of the kids. It's clear now. And having complete and total control of everything and every aspect of our lives didn't make anything any easier. So I'm talking to her. She texts me this morning, and she's very upset because she gets a letter from social service or Social Security saying that when they overcharged me, giving me $9.28 the first couple months for Vana, that was wrong because the check should have been going to Joey and Jackie too. And she hadn't applied for them yet, so they were giving me the $9.28 during that time because they didn't know. I told them when I found out. They said Don should have told them, and he was getting his check. That's why he did it, or he wouldn't have gotten that, or not as much. So it's hard to follow because she's saying that instead of charging me, they're taking the money back from the kids' checks, the $350 extra that I got. So she won't be getting a check for Joe or Jackie for like 2 months. And I'm trying to calm her down, and I'm saying, well, maybe it's because they do things, it's a month backwards, and they do things stupidly. So what it's explained is that they're taking the money that I owe from the kids' checks to get back to them, to give back to her. And then she's also owed back pay for the whole year that Don was on it and kids didn't get the checks. So it really doesn't make sense. But she's screaming, why should it be from the kids' checks? They didn't get anything. But I think it's because of the whole custody and parental things that he signed off on these kids completely. It's the only reasonable thing, my mom's saying, that makes sense for this. And she thinks they should be taking even more money from Vanabelle's check and splitting it then. And I'm like, she's going to call and she's going to complain. And I'm like, well, if you just wait 2 months, because she's rich, she doesn't need this money. It's not like a huge thing. I said, if you just wait 2 more months, then you'll get the check plus more, because it's the back check for them for the last year. So you're going to get even more. And I don't know, she's very upset about that. It should be on me, and her lawyer says it doesn't sound right, and that her lawyer, she's going to file to take child support for me, that I'm going to have to pay child support now. And I'm like, well, why didn't you ever ask Don for child support? He told me for years he was paying her child support. She says he never paid a dime. They were never including me in anything. I didn't know where my kids were. It was a constant mess. It's on Facebook, it's on everything, it's with Amber, it's with everybody. With me trying to get in contact, and every time I would get in contact with her over the past 10 years, it would be a fight. And then she would stop talking to me and block me, and then I couldn't find them. So I'm just confused, because the past weekend she was talking nice. She left the clothes on the porch for Vana that I did not ask for, but she left shorts and the shirts and the sandals, and she was being nice. And then now it's, I should take you for child support. That's what the lawyer's saying to do. And I'm just thinking in my head, as a person with values and morals, why would you never have taken him to court for child support? You're saying he did nothing when you knew he had money to at least do that. But you would now take me for child support and fight to take the last bit that I have coming in, knowing that I'm telling you I can't even get a job and everything that I'm doing. And then the VA with the whole wife situation, and she knows all this, and it's like, why would this person do this at this time? If you want that from me, I get it, and it's my child. I should, maybe then it's going to be like that. I've heard of that. People have to pay that back for years, even once they're older. But why would you do that to me right now, as you're being nice to me? So that's been all day back and forth. Just things being thrown in my face, and all this stuff. And then the mail comes, and the mail's from Social Security. And it says that somebody else applied for the Social Security for a child, but there's no name. There's no person's name, and then there's no child's name. And that the Social Security might be lowered again. So that would mean that there's another kid somewhere. Another woman, another family. I told you guys that he cheated a lot, and it was on and off, and it was always a problem. And then you would believe him, and then you wouldn't believe him, and then there was just things. And I know it sounds so stupid. And it's like, why would I have left? Why didn't I care? Why did I love him? And I'm still thinking now that there's another kid, another family. Why would he do this? When Becky applied, it said Rebecca Sykes, whatever her last name is, was applying for this, and then it said for who? Joey and Jackie. So this is saying just somebody else applied. I guess they need proof maybe, and so they don't have their names down. So it's definitely different. I'm hoping it's just a mistake because they keep messing everything up, because this doesn't even make sense of why they would be taking the money they owe her from her to give back to her. None of that makes sense to me, unless they're not giving it to her, my mom said, because everything was signed over to her. He signed everything over, and they manipulated the system with me, or he had me sign something, or he signed it himself. I never signed anything for Joey and Jackie. When I was drinking the first time, the DFS came because it was a whole misunderstanding by my mother. She thought I was there alone, and Don went down the street to get beef for his rigatonis and meat sauce. So she thought I was drunk with the kids, and then seen that girl's medicine on the ground and thought I was sick and called for an ambulance. She didn't know the cops and everybody were going to come. So I was drunk, and they took me because of that. So instead of taking his own kids that night, he called his sister and was saying, I can't take the kids tonight. I can't watch these kids tonight and tomorrow while she's in the hospital. I gotta work. So Becky took the kids that night, and then it's been a fight ever since then. And then I was just locked away and forgotten about. Plus, once we moved here, I was still kind of recovering from the agoraphobia, because after you're in the house like that for long, it turned into the agoraphobia where it wouldn't go anywhere. And couldn't even barely go outside. Only go in the backyard with the baby. So it was slow for me once we moved here, and he was always saying that Becky and Jackie would come every Sunday. So then I started waiting outside to catch them, and nobody ever came. And then these were the only ways I could do things once we got here. And then still nothing was getting done, because he said they moved, it was different addresses. And I couldn't find them. She has an Italian last name after that, and I didn't know how to spell it, and I couldn't find them. So that is just very hard now, if she's going to do that with child support. I just feel like everything's tumbling on top of me. It's your life is a lie. And now there's another kid. Obviously, there is a possibility of that with him cheating over the years. But I never thought it would come to that. So all this time everyone's been going, where does this money go? Where does this money go? It was probably going to rent and bills for somebody else, so she wouldn't come knocking on my door saying he cheated, and then he would have the whole prenup thing messed up, which there was nothing to get anyway. But in his mind there was. It was weird. Right up to the last week he was alive, it was a fight where every time he would get defensive about something or possessive or jealous, he would be like, well, you're not getting nothing from me. And then I would be like, well, I am entitled to half of whatever you have, thinking he does have some things. Not much, but some things, like business name, anything like that. And it's just like, I'll put a bullet in your head before you do that. You're not getting half of whatever. Like, he, in his own mind, he convinced himself he even has things that I could get that don't exist. It's hurtful. It's very hurtful. How can this keep happening? And I was happy just being a wife and a mother the first few years, and then it just got awful. Everything got awful. It's like every day I wake up and I don't know what's gonna happen next. Who's gonna say what? What other thing is he lying about? I never thought it would be things like this. Serious, life-changing thing. I just always thought the lies were just about money and business. I don't know how he could look me in the face every night and say, Mommy, I love you. Is he out there?
No.
Don't walk down there.
Mommy, I don't.
Play with Ellie.
No, she went in. She can't come out because she's grounded.
She's grounded.
Yeah, I got no more.
You want to go watch your tablet till... Did John go into the house? He did walk by.
She said you need to do her homework. She said you need it. She said to be funny about it. I want her to come now.
Oh, he said he's coming right back? Well, that's because he had to check in, honey. John always has to check in.
She said she's coming. She said she's going to fight about it.
Oh, then that means he's either going to play his game or come back. Well, you got lots of toys and stuff out on the porch.
Oh, I do that now.
Alright, well, how about we make cupcakes tonight?
You know you're making it. You won't say no.
No, we'll do it tonight. I'll do that with you tonight. Before all this happened, I did have time to apply to a couple different jobs. And I tried to call Robin, but she was out. When the Goodwill guy told me to call Robin on Tuesday morning, but she was out for lunch, and then all this happened, so I didn't get a chance to call back. They're just about closing now, so I'll call tomorrow. Good counting. I hear you counting. So this
Will you
is
call him?
no. We'll just wait a couple minutes and he may come back, honey bunny. Tomorrow I have the appointment with the job center guy to go over the resume and things. That's 11 to 12. And then 1 to 2 I have the mammogram, which I'm scared about. Honey. And then I have, we're going to make an appointment to go to the Social Security office to do a couple things and figure some stuff out and some questions. $20 years.
Honey, cat.
Huh?
Honey, cry.
I'm not crying. My nose is stuffed up. I've been sneezing.
Have fun.
You don't usually. Where's Jamily?
I don't know. She's not in here.
Oh, they probably went somewhere then, honey.
So I called you.
Alright, well then maybe she's just in. Maybe she's grounded too. You girls don't
She's not
listen.
down here. She need to go in for something.
Sweetheart, I can't argue about why kids can't come out right now. I know that Ellie usually goes to soccer practice and stuff like that.
No, she go to softball.
Oh, her softball. Alright. Well, that's probably some things that are going on. And just wait a minute. John always comes back, so. Especially if he knows the other girls aren't here.
He don't know that.
Well, he can see with his eyes that you're the only one playing out in front porch. Stop that, Pinky. No, you're itching. Yeah, I have those appointments tomorrow. And I'm happy that the doctor fixed my medicine. That was nice. I assumed it was a mistake. They didn't say so or not. The woman I called for refills, she just put it in the system, and then when she looked at it in the system, she said it actually says 2.5s a day, and I said no, it's 3. So then she had to look that up, and then she fixed it kindly. So that was very nice of her, and I appreciate that. I can't believe this. I looked at it and I read it to Amber and I said, what does this mean? Does this mean there's another kid? Because I didn't understand what it was saying. Oh, I filled out her school thing. They said they're going to do a little help during summer, a couple classes, just to keep her speech going. Because of the way she talks is a little slurred sometimes, just because she was learning the letters. Because there was no preschool or daycare, and I tried the best I could. She had no patience, and she'd get angry. So she just was learning certain letters, and she learns right away. So she's learning different sounds and still trying to put them together speech-wise. But she did really good this year, much better. So I think just a little bit more and she'll be fine. I think she's right on time for where she's at in school. with speech and stuff, especially not having anything before, because I think we wanted her to start last year in kindergarten, and he kept saying she's registered, and I guess you could say it's my fault. I had the agoraphobia still, so I didn't go down and check, and then she wasn't and didn't go to school. And then I had slowly gotten over that entire year. So when it was time for school this year, he was saying she's registered. And I said, how is she registered without a birth certificate? And then he was like, oh, I gotta get that. And I said, well, Amber and I already went and got it at Vital Statistics. And so I gave him that, and then I made an appointment. She got her checkup and her dental appointments, so I was able to make all those appointments and stuff and go with him to make sure it got done. And then he was still going to handle it all, so I went over to the school to make sure she was registered, and she still wasn't registered, and it was almost time for school, and I'm like, she's going to get the last teachers and stuff that people don't seem to like, and Amber was saying that too. And so I hurried up and went across the deli and was screaming at him. I was like, give me everything right now. She needs to be registered. So I did it, and everything got done. So I think she's right on track for what she is. I guess it's just delayed. But not too delayed. She was 6. I think people put kids in kindergarten more nowadays, around 5.
Now you shut it, you need to go to the phone.
Yeah, and that. I'll just hold it. And that. She needs to get rid of that. I'm taking it, but it's an anxiety thing, and I'm just caught between it. I tried taking it away and saying it was thrown out, and she stayed up all night tossing and turning because she doesn't usually suck on it. She holds it.
Oh, I wake up, I need it. You come for a sheep.
Yeah, but it's time to give it up. Your big girl teeth fell out. You need that out.
No.
She did stop it for a long time and then started, and Don kept buying them for her. So, I mean, everyone says I should have came in here and just threw them all out after Don passed, but I was putting myself in her shoes, and I didn't want to do that. It's like a security blanket almost. So I was just like, there's 3 left, there's 2 left, 1 more, and then you're done. And then she started holding it, and then she pretty much is good. She's with it all day. The only time I ever see her do it is when she's bored like this, and she'll hold it right before bed. But that one's almost gone, because they could like tear up, and then there's like almost nothing left. It's hanging on by a thread, and then she's still trying, so then she just holds it. It's just like comfort, I guess. Shouldn't suck on it though. Your teeth are gonna get messed up. We talked about that. Can you please stop doing that? See if Jonathan's out front, honey bunny. Thank you. There's lots of things to do right there for 5 minutes while I finish up my video, honey. A lot of grown-up stuff. So I got a busy day tomorrow. I just feel like my nerves are shot at this point. If I get a job at the Goodwill, the only thing right now is I will need bus fare. And for some reason I feel like I'm going to get that job. I applied to a lot of other ones and worked on that, and I'm still going to go tomorrow and do the resume thing just to do it. But I have a feeling, because of the way the guy acted at the Goodwill, he was all by himself. He had to call someone to actually come in and help him lift it into the truck, because we weren't allowed to help. And when I first showed up, I asked, "Are you hiring?" He was like, "Always, always, always, always." And I said, "Well, I signed up at the Goodwill site, and that's where they look at resumes and place people, different ones and stuff." And that's when he was like, um, "Call Robin." And he was like, "Call here and call Robin, I'm telling you." And then he said it 3 more times, and then he winked before we left and said, "Call Robin." So I think that might be a sure thing because they are always hiring. And that's not too far from here. It would probably be 2 buses or one. Yeah, it would have to be 2. I hope I don't get confused. It's a little far, but it's down 2 main roads. But I would need bus fare, and then I would need gas money to pay Amber, because Amber would have to pick her up from school a couple days a week, because my mom works 3 days a week. She can do the other days, and hopefully it's like a 9 to 5. But I will need. I hate this. I hate to even have to ask for money. And this just all made it worse because this morning I was sitting here thinking I want to do a video, just a separate video, just thanking everyone that has donated. Like even my aunt and my Aunt Kathy, I don't think of that as them giving me money, especially when it was so much. I think of that as a loan that they're helping me. I think they just thought of it as donating, giving the money, but when I'm on my feet and we're settled, and I will get there, I know I will. It's a new life. I will get there and make the right decisions. And I want to pay them all back, every one of you that I have, and save your names and save your contact information. Especially Erica and Amber and Kathy and Lindsay, Barbara, just everybody. Because I really appreciated that helped us this far, and it's just going to take a lot more to get us to where we need to be, to where I'll never have to ask for money again, because I never have in my entire life. So I just can't believe I'm put in this position. And I'm glad that I document this stuff, because even when I was thinking, if something happens to him or I leave him, I was looking at jobs and stuff where you didn't have to go to school real quick or do anything, and I wanted to be a pharmacist assistant for Rite Aid, and it said they hire a lot and they take you right in. You don't have to go to school for it. They train you in there. So I thought that would be perfect at my Rite Aid, but I thought that would be easy, or easy to just get any other job, McDonald's, anything. And it's not. I never ever imagined it would take this long or this hard, or that I would be told no over and over again. I have all the experience. I never imagined this. So if you're a housewife at home, and I keep seeing it all the time on things that I'm listening to in the background, it's the same story. The husband dies or leaves her, and she's been a housewife taking care of him and the house and the kids for years and years and years, and now she has nothing. And nobody will hire you. I don't know if it's because you were a housewife and they look at that and think something else. They just won't hire you. This is just like, your nerves are shot. You're just at like rock bottom right now. And I'll never give up hope. But this is just starting to be too much to handle with what he's done in the life he was living compared to what I thought we were living. And it makes me look pathetic, I think. And I don't want anyone else to feel that way because people are probably going to think that too. But we know why we're in the situations we are. And hopefully, this whole story will help somebody else when they're in it. And watch me get through it and get on top of it. Or if you're just going through it, you're at the same phase now as me. It's just like you understand it or you've been through it and you've gotten through it. It's just a million ways that documenting this can help. Alright guys, so there's probably a million more texts on here, more information about child support and lowering Social Security. Other kids. I don't know with the Social Security if this other woman's claiming he has a kid. How do they prove that? You can put anybody's name on a Social Security on the birth certificate. He never was there when I had to put his name on the certificates. Wait a minute. When Charlie was born, they put Dawn's name on her original certificate. And we didn't get it because they all knew the situation, but it was because Dawn and I were legally married. So they put him on the birth certificate. And then we had to bring Dawn papers saying that he was signing off his rights. And he was not the kid's baby or father, and that he this and that. And then Jay was able to go and get a new birth certificate with his name. So would she be able to put his name on a birth certificate, or would they say something? And with that, how did they know he was legally married? If it came up that he was married and married to me, then maybe we are really married. This is awful, not even knowing I'm his wife. But I just thought of that. But that was then. They didn't do that in the past. Because someone else had a baby. She was married, and she didn't put the name down, and the birth certificate just didn't have the name. So that must be some kind of new law then. So then, I can't even follow my own thoughts. It's just so many different things because it's so many different scenarios that I'm trying to put together and figure out what's real and what's not. Well, death did us apart. So maybe there's something with that. It might have just been in the records that he was my husband because of that we had our 2 children there. Or 3, I mean. I was thinking of Joey and Jackie. Vana was born there too, so it might just have been in my records there. So maybe that's why they did that. And then in hospital paperwork, I was checking married and his name. I think it was, they were at, I remember Jay was upset about it because it was her birth certificate. He really was upset about that. It hurt him. And he was like, why is this on here? How do we get this off? And I think they were just saying it's just legally they have to do that because it's in the system. And then they told him how to fix it and how to get his name on a new one. So he was very upset that her original birth certificate, you know, didn't have his name and had Don's name. Because we weren't done with our surrogacy paperwork. AM1. Alright guys, I'm probably going to start needing some help saving up the bus fare and the gas money for Amber to come from Newcastle, Delaware to here, which is about half an hour, to pick up Vana about. And she's probably not going to want to stay around here for 2 hours if it's 9 to 5, but then she'll have to bring her back, go home, bring her back, so she might as well, but she has the other 2 babies, so I don't know if she'd want to even stay here. Maybe it would be easier, save gas money, but, you know, I'm going to have to give her gas money. I can't not give her gas money for doing that for me until the welfare puts the child daycare through. But she or my mother's still going to have to come and take Vana out of school and then take them there. So either way, it's gas money. And then bus fare. I don't know how to use the bus. I'm going to have to read how to use the bus. Or save a couple $100 to get a car at an auction. Because Faith's dad told me over the weekend that you just go to the auction, which is what Don used to do. I forgot all about that. I just didn't think regular people could go because he had a dealer's license. And he said, no, there is ones that you public can go and you could get it for $200. And I'm just worried I'm going to have to bring like Bobby with me or something if I do that, because he's very honest and that's what he does, and he will check every part of the car to make sure it'll pass inspection. I don't care what it is, it just got to pass inspection so I can drive. And then I can try and get the lowest insurance there is. Pay for that along with the bills. This is a lot, so and this is a really bad situation. This is a story that I didn't even think was this bad and this much. At this point, I'm like a viewer, watching and learning and hearing all these new things. It's like an out-of-body experience. So this is just way bigger than I thought it was going to be. So at this point, I do need help. My family does need help. Please, everyone, I know you have, just keep sharing the GoFundMe page. Maybe explain the situation. You know that it's an honest person in a really bad situation with family. And please just keep sharing the page and sharing what you can. And stay with me. Please stay with me. Keep watching and supporting me. I love you guys. Thank you for the advice. And sharing your experiences and what you're going through too, that helps a lot. Especially the women that were so strong to get through and past all this kind of stuff. And how you did it. I love you guys. I will talk to you tomorrow. Subscribe.